The question, why wouldn't we start and finish a book of the Bible in 1 year? This is another question about preaching here at Gateway. If you've been here a while, sometimes you'll notice that we will spend a few months in one book of the Bible, and then we'll move on to another book. And then you'll find us returning back to that first book, maybe the next year, and the year after that. Then there are times when we will start a book of the Bible and we'll stick with that book until we finish it. And the question is asking, why don't we do the same thing for all of the books in the Bible that we preach through here at Gateway? A couple of reasons. First is this: the length of the book is taken into consideration. When it comes to books like 1 John or Daniel, they are much shorter than Romans, and so we can preach straight through these shorter books. But then Romans, we've spread out over many, many years. Second, I break up the longer books to give the congregation a break. Preachers in the past didn't always do this. They would start in the beginning of a book and they would stick with it until they finished it. And sometimes what that led to is congregation members talking about their time at the church based on whatever book or books of the Bible the pastor was preaching through. As an illustration, somebody might say, "Oh, I was at First Church so-and-so when the pastor was preaching through 1st and 2nd Samuel. When did you attend that church?" That person may say, "Well, I was there while he was preaching through the first half of Isaiah. My husband and I, we showed up 30 years ago. We were excited to hear that they were starting a brand new series on the book of Isaiah. But 30 years later, when he finally retired and we were moving away, we were kind of tired of Isaiah." Now, that again is an illustration, but I have read stories like that in books on preaching that are much closer to that than you might imagine. And so sometimes we break up longer books just to give the congregation a break. Then finally, third reason, I am called to preach the whole counsel of God. That's what we find in Scripture. What is the whole counsel of God? That means I'm called to preach the Old Testament and the New Testament, Paul's writings, Peter's writings, the books of Moses, the Gospels, the major prophets, the minor prophets, the short books, the long books. Thus, to do my best to preach the whole counsel of God to you, sometimes we preach straight through a book, and other times we will spread a book out over multiple years so that we can spend time in the whole counsel of God.